Okay, so this is the proper cloth, Oxford cloth button down. This is in the American Pima. It does cost a little bit more than the regular non-Pima cotton. I do think the cost is worth it though. So I'd gotten some requests to talk about some other shirts, so I figured I'd go ahead and do a quick video on the rest of my Oxfords. So this is a made to measure one. So basically you put your measurements in online, and so I won't go over the measurements here because it's going to be dependent on your own body type. But I will say that they are very good in terms of the sizing. They do account for shrinkage, which I really like. And overall, I really like the shirt. So let me just go over it real quick. So first thing, again, it doesn't have the measurements or anything here because it's your own personal measurements. It is the American Pima cotton. So first let's talk about the collar. This is an unlined and unfused collar. They have multiple collar options. This is the classic one though for the Oxford cloth button down. You can tell it kind of looks similar to the Kamakura shirt if you've seen my other video in terms of how it's unlined and unfused. So I think it looks good. I do like it if it's nice and soft. Another thing about this shirt, again, these are custom details that you can add on. This one does have a locker loop, which I like. It has the box pleat, which again, I like. And then this one's a split yoke. They say the split yoke allows for extra mobility in the shirt. I don't know how true that is. Basically, the reasoning though is because these fabrics, they can potentially stretch this way, and then these ones are free to stretch this way. Versus if you just had one piece, there's just less stretch, and I think it only goes one way as opposed to going both ways with the split yoke. So I don't necessarily have a preference over the split or single yoke, but if it says it gives you more mobility, then and if that's true, then I'd say I prefer that, but it's not something I necessarily notice. Some other details about the shirt. This one, you can customize the button spacing, and I believe where you customize it, it's the top button. I can't be 100% sure off the top of my head. I'll have to go back and research. But I believe what you do is you change this button length from this button, and then based on what you pick, it will adjust the rest of these buttons. This one does come buttoned all the way down, which again, I prefer. Also, small detail. Some people I've seen online, they prefer for their last button to be cut horizontally. They say that gives the shirt a little bit more mobility in the waist. Again, it's not something I notice, but some people have pointed it out. These are the mother of pearl buttons. They don't come included, they are extra, but I did pay for them on this one. As far as the customizations on this shirt, number one is the pocket you can customize. You can get any type of pocket you want pretty much. You can get dual pockets. You can get a pocket with a flap over it, similar to a J-press style of shirt. You can get your pocket where it has kind of a V shape at the bottom. They've got lots of different options. They've also got one where the stitching goes across here, and you can get a chevron stitching there as well, I believe. Some more details about this shirt that I like is it is gusseted. I do prefer gussets in the shirt. I think that they do add structural integrity to the shirt. None of my shirts have ever split there, but just based on the theory of why the gusset exists, I prefer to have it there, and that would prevent any issues as opposed to me not having one and it becoming an issue later on. So this comes gusseted standard. The bottom of the shirt is a rounded hem. There are a couple of other options you can pick. And this rounded hem is not super drastic, where some of them have a very deep front and back and then shallow sides. This one's pretty minimal, just kind of classic. So when I was talking earlier about my preference for armholes, in a post I had made, I was talking about the one drawback that I have for proper cloth is you can't adjust the armhole size, at least not manually. So when I measured with this, with the rest of my dimensions, this fits me perfectly except right here. And with my dimensions, this armhole comes out to about 10 inches. I emailed them, I asked if there was any way I could adjust this. They said there's no way to actually adjust it on your part, except if you change the sleeve diameter here, this will adjust the armhole length, but they couldn't tell me exactly by how much and how it would affect the actual sizing. And then also the other measurement they said I could do is they said I could change the chest size, and that would also increase the armhole size.
I ended up emailing them and asking them if I could plug in my numbers into their algorithm and have them give me the dimensions that I would need to change the sleeve diameter to, as well as the chest, in order to get that minimum armhole opening size of 11 inches. But they said they were unable to do it like that. It's pretty unfortunate. I wish they would work with me and kind of give me the algorithm, but what can you do?
I do have another proper cloth shirt that is an Oxford as well, but it is their classic Oxford. Their classic Oxford, I believe, is 172 grams, whereas this one is 180 grams, the Pima cotton. You do have to pay a premium for this. They did recently increase their prices over the past year too. So when I originally bought this shirt with the Pima cotton, this one cost me about $120 before shipping. And the other non-Pima cotton Oxford only cost about $95, I think, at that time, but they've since increased the price. So this shirt is now $140.
And the classic Oxford is priced now at $105.
So to sum up what I think about this shirt, the pros and the cons, number one, it's my favorite material for a shirt that I currently own. You can tell a difference between Pima cotton and regular cotton. This cotton cloth is really nice. It's super soft. It's honestly, it's my favorite shirt. If I could make all of my shirts out of this material, that's what I would personally do. Yes, you pay a premium, but yes, I think it's worth it. I do like how many customization options there are. For example, we talked about the collar, we talked about the pocket. You can pick your own size. You can pick how many pleats there are here. I think I have two. Two is what they recommend standard, but I think you can get up to 3, or you can get none even if you wanted. This one, it does come with a button here. I can't remember if this is a customization or not, but I did choose to have it there. You can also change what style cuff you have. I just went this single button there on there. Overall, I really love this shirt. However, the armhole for me is a killer. The fact that I can't adjust this size, for me, it just means every single time I wear this shirt, I get sweat stains right here. And for me, I really don't like having sweat stains when I'm at work. It makes it, just not a pleasurable experience. But other than that, this is my favorite Oxford cloth button down that I own, except for this one issue. And because of that, I'm no longer ordering from Proper Cloth at the moment until they can somehow fix this and let you adjust this armhole size, or if they were able to basically plug in the numbers for the chest here and then give me the number that this would be to meet the minimum 11 inches for myself personally. For a lot of people out there, that's not gonna matter, but for me personally, it does. Overall, if the armhole size does not bother you, this is an awesome shirt. It's my favorite shirt that I own. I wish I could wear it more often. I can't say enough good things about it. I really do enjoy it. So this is the made-to-measure Spier and Mackay shirt. A lot of people have been requesting this one, so I wanted to go over the one that I have. Again, this one is my own custom size, and so for me, this is one of my best fitting shirts. Some things that I like about this one just off the bat are the material of this shirt in particular is great. I also love the color. It's kind of that, I think it's pronounced ecru, or some people call it cream. The cream color can sometimes be a little bit hard to find, and so I was glad I was able to find the cream color Oxford and could get it to my sizes specifically. Some things about this one. Again, this is an unlined, unfused collar. I really do like the collar roll on this one. These buttons are not mother of pearl. You do have to pay extra for mother of pearl. I didn't on this one. I probably should have. Some things about this one that you can customize are, you can decide whether or not you want a button collar on the back. You can add this into the comments. They don't have it as an option built into the site, but if you just leave a comment on your order, they'll do that for you. I really enjoyed that aspect. This one also has the split yoke, similar to the Proper Cloth. This one has the locker loop as well. I can't remember if this one is also something that I had to request in the comments or if it's actually an option on the website, but they'll do it regardless. And then it does have a box pleat, which I enjoy. Some things you can customize about this shirt, very similar to the Proper Cloth in terms of the amount of options. So again, you can choose what type of pocket you want. I can't remember the different types of pockets I have off the top of my head. I just went with the classic one. The shirt, again, it does have this button that I've talked about in some of my other videos and on my other shirts. I prefer to have this button. I can't remember if it's an option to get it without it, but I'm always gonna put it there usually if it's on there as an option. And then I just went with a single button cuff here. You can adjust how many pleats are here as well. I went with a standard 2. So what are some things that I like and dislike about Spier and Mackay on this shirt in particular? Number one is the options of customization. Again, I think that that's a huge thing. I do give the leg up to Spier and Mackay in terms of customization options, and that is because the number one issue for me for a lot of my dress shirts is the armhole size. I really do get a lot of sweating if this is too small. That's not going to be a huge issue for most people, I don't think, but for me it is. And I can adjust the armhole size in here. So this is 11 inches. That's what I requested, and that's what they gave me. So I'm super happy about that. I wear this shirt all the time just because of that. Another thing, I like the collar roll on here. I think it looks good. Even though it is unlined, unfused, I think it has still a very nice collar roll. I like how many customization option it has for the pocket. I like how it comes with this button here. Again, this is optional, I think, for a lot of Oxfords, and they don't necessarily put it on here. I can't remember if you can request this or if it comes with it standard. That's just something you'll have to check on the site. I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. I really love how you can request things in the comments. So again, on the comments on your order, this is not an option technically on the actual website, but on the comments for the order, you can request it and they'll add it on. I think that's an awesome touch. It does have the split yoke. Again, if that gives you extra mobility, I'm all about it, so I enjoy that. The locker loop, I love it, and then the box pleat. Some things that I dislike about Spier and Mackay, and one issue I have with them. So the issue with Spier and Mackay is I've gotten 2 shirts from them. I ordered this one the very first time, and I fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite shirts that I own. The material is nice and heavyweight. It's super soft. Also very similar to the Pima cloth, Oxford cloth button down that I have from Proper Cloth. That's kind of a tongue twister. But anyways, I really liked this shirt. And so when I went on their website to order my second shirt from them, I picked what I thought was the exact same material, just in a different color. However, when I ordered it, what came to me was not the same material at all. So the only issue I have with Spier and Mackay is their descriptions of their cloth is not very good, and it's not super specific. So what they'll say on them, and it's not standardized enough. But for example, for this shirt, this was a 2-ply ADS fabric. I believe that's what they called it. And it was labeled as heavyweight. So I found another fabric on their shirt site that said 2-ply ADS heavyweight, and I ordered it, and it was not the same fabric. I even emailed them about this after the fact, and they agreed, and they said, yes, the fabric is different. The fabric on my the second shirt that I ordered was brushed or something, but they said the weight was the same. But when I'm feeling them and when I'm wearing them, I do not think that the weight is the same. I'm not gonna cut apart my shirt to measure those myself, but I just wish that they'd be able to standardize that a little bit. And that is in contrast to the Proper Cloth. So the Proper Cloth, they have their descriptions on their website of their fabrics, and it's perfect. They describe it exactly what it is. They tell you if it's a 40S, they tell you if it's an ADS, they tell you if it's a single ply or a 2-ply. And basically what those mean usually are the 40S compared to the ADS. The ADS is going to feel a little bit softer, and the single ply compared to the 2-ply, the 2-ply is going to be softer. And I found that to be 100% true with them. So again, this is, I believe, an ADS 2-ply cotton, and it's one of the softest shirts that I own. Yes, it's also Pima cotton. You have to factor that in. But compared to their regular Oxford cloths, I believe those are 40S, and some are single ply and some are 2-ply. And the single ply and 2-ply, I have both of those as well, and there is a difference between those. So that's like 3 different fabrics that you can compare, and it's standardized across all of their orders. And I think it's really accurate. So if Spier and Mackay could do what Proper Cloth has done and standardize their labeling of their fabrics, I would give the upper hand to Spier and Mackay. Right now, for my own personal preference, if I'm going based on fit alone, Spier and Mackay wins. It lets me customize this armhole. However, I can't order from them in good confidence right now because I don't trust their fabric materials. They are pretty good about responding to emails though, so if you email them and request specifically like, hey, this is a fabric that I really enjoy, can you recommend a fabric in the same fabric in a different color? They're pretty good about responding, but sometimes it can be a hassle. And then also, if it's your very first order, you might not know 100% what you're going to get from Spier and Mackay. Proper Cloth gets the upper hand on fabrics. They really do. Their fabrics are really great. They're exactly as they're described. But for me personally, with the armhole issue that I can't adjust, it's a deal breaker for me at the moment. This shirt, again, it's $140 now. And for me not being able to adjust the armhole manually, I just can't order another one for the time being. So I wish I could combine Spier and Mackay's customization with proper cloth materials, and that would ideally be one of my perfect shirts. You'd basically get the best of both worlds. So last thing, I've got Spier and Mackay here. I've got proper cloth. I've got the Brooks Brothers made in USA, and I've got the Kamakura shirt. So I want to talk about basically just kind of my thoughts on all of these. There's not one company that I think does it best. I think I like some things about each company, and I think each one has its advantages. So for the Spier and Mackay, I give them the advantage for the customization options. I think that they have the best customization options. I like them the most in terms of what they offer. I like how you can add a comment on your order, and they'll do that comment, if they can. So they'll give you this doesn't come standard, but again, you just request it, they'll put it on there for you. If they don't have something, shoot them an email. They'll figure it out for you most of the time, and so I really enjoy that. However, the downside for them is their fabric descriptions on their website. It's not standardized enough to where I can order from them safely and know exactly what I'm getting. So again, it's kind of just your own personal tolerances on what you're comfortable with ordering from them and how your order is going to turn out. For proper cloth, I think that they don't necessarily have the best fabric out of the bunch, but they have the best descriptions of their fabric. And so you know exactly what you're going to get when you order from them. You know exactly how it's going to feel. If you've ordered one shirt from them before, you can order 3 more in the exact same style, and you know exactly how it's going to feel. You know what the weight's going to be. And so I love that about them. I think that they're the most kind of polished and refined website in terms of all of that information just being on there and you not really having to email them for anything else. However, the one downside for me is, again, the armhole. Another downside is they're one of the most expensive made-to-measure shirts right now, especially if you go with the American Pima. And again, the American Pima, it does make a difference between their standard and their upgraded one. So I think that the Pima is worth it from them. If the armhole issue doesn't bother you and you don't care about this, I'd say proper cloth gets the edge. For Brooks Brothers, what does it have going for it? It's my favorite off-the-rack fitting shirt that I currently own. Again, I talked about this in another video, but I love the way that this shirt fits. Yes, it has its issues. Their quality control could be a little bit better, but if you don't want to go through the hassle of finding your own measurements, I think that this is a great option. And yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with them. And then lastly, Kamakura. So Kamakura, I talked about them in the last video as well. Kamakura, I think, is the best value to quality ratio that you're going to find. Even at $120, if you have to ship it from Japan, I think it's worth it if the dimensions of the shirt fit you. And then if you go to Japan, absolutely pick some up. It's a steal for $60 to $70 after taxes. They're a great company. I really want to support them. I love what they're doing with the Vintage Ivy collection. I think the throwback aspect is really cool for them. And if you like the little details for the Vintage Ivy, I'd say go for it. So if I had to personally pick right now, like which one's my favorite shirt, which one am I going to go to the most, I'd say right now it's a tie between the Brooks Brothers and the Spier and Mackay. And that's because fit for me is most important. And all of these have good quality cloth options. Their fabric, I like the fabric. I think that they're pretty even on there. Yes, you could have a preference for one or the other, but I'm happy with all 4 of these shirts in front of me. But I have to give the edge to Spier and Mackay for their customizing. They just have, you can customize anything. So I'm giving them the edge. And then Brooks Brothers for off the rack. I've never had a shirt fit me perfectly off the rack as much as Brooks Brothers did. Again, that's going to be dependent on your own personal dimensions and how the shirt fits you. So which one do I recommend the most? It's hard to say. I think there's all good options. I think it depends on what you want out of a shirt.
Lastly, here are some fit pictures for both of these shirts. First up is proper cloth, second is Spier and Mackay. Fit pictures aren't quite as important here because the measurements are all custom to what you put in for your actual order. Both shirts did have accurate measurements based on what I ordered and what I got. The edge goes to proper cloth for having 1/10 of an inch measurement increments compared to Spier and Mackay's 1/4 inch measurements. Both companies do account for shrinkage. Proper cloth specifically will give you cleaning and drying instructions for their fabrics, while Spier and Mackay, I specifically asked for the fabric to be pre-rinsed to account for shrinkage. I'm not sure if that's standard or not for Spier and Mackay, but I did request it and they honored the request, so it may just be worth putting it in a comment for them to read. I will also include a collar roll for both shirts, as that is something that will matter to most people as well. Let me know if you have any questions or anything down in the comments. I do plan on trying a J-Press shirt eventually, as well as a Luxire. It might be a while until I get one of those, but just stay tuned.